Everything you think you know about Steve Jobs is a lie. History remembers him as a god, the genius in the black turtleneck who descended from the mountain to give us the most greatest technology in history, the iPhone.
Extraordinary, phenomenal, unbelievably great, phenomenal, incredible, phenomenal, dream, wonderful, awesome, remarkable, gorgeous, wonderful, incredible, awesome, wonderful, terrific, incredible.
But the truth isn't inspirational, it's brutal. Steve Jobs didn't build Apple with code. He built it with manipulation, theft, and a ruthless psychological warfare that destroyed everyone around him, including himself. This isn't the story of a hero. This is the story of a monster who learned how to win, how to manipulate, how to survive. We all know the legend. It is the creation myth of the modern world. Two barefoot college dropouts in a dusty garage in Los Altos. No money, no investors, just a soldering iron and a dream to change everything. We are told that Steve Jobs was a tech visionary from the very first moment. That while other kids were listening to records, he was visualizing the future of personal computing. History paints him as the architect, the engineer, the singular genius who looked at a pile of spare parts and saw a revolution years before anyone else even understood the question. But that is a lie. In 1975, Steve Jobs didn't know how to code. He didn't know how to design a circuit board. He barely knew how to solder. He is just a man with a sense of direction. The real genius wasn't Steve Jobs. It was the man standing in his shadow, Steve Wozniak, the Woz. He built the Apple I by hand just to show it off to his friends. He wanted to give the schematics away for free. Jobs looked at Wozniak's work and didn't see a computer. He saw a weapon built for change, shaped for impact, ready to push a small group into a new era. But before this, the dynamic started early, and it started with a crime. Before Apple, they built blue boxes, illegal devices that allowed you to hack the telephone network and make free long-distance calls. Wozniak built them for the challenge, but Jobs sensed different direction. He sold them to criminals and gamblers on campus for cash. It was their first business, a felony, and that's the beginning. But the true nature of Steve Jobs revealed itself at Atari. Jobs was hired to design a game called Breakout. He couldn't do it, so he recruited Wozniak to do the work for him. He told Woz, if we do this in 4 days, we get $700. We'll split it 50-50. Wozniak didn't sleep for 4 days. He did the impossible. He delivered the game. Atari was so impressed, they paid Jobs a $5,000 bonus. Jobs went back to Woz, handed him $350, and said, "Here is your half."
He pocketed the rest. He stole from his best friend, his partner, the man who did all the work, and he took all the money. Wozniak didn't find out the truth for 10 years. This wasn't just greed. This was the strategy. He applied Law 7 of the Robert Greene 48 Laws of Power. Get others to do the work, but always take the credit. But a garage is not an empire, and stolen bonuses don't build Fortune 500 companies. They needed adult supervision. Enter Mike Markula, a retired Intel millionaire. He looked at the two Steves and saw something nobody else did. He wrote a check for $250,000, funding the company in exchange for 1/3 of the business.
With that money, they launched the Apple II. This was the turning point. The Apple I was for hobbyists. The Apple II was for everyone. It was the first computer that looked like a home appliance, not a science experiment. Sales exploded. They went from a garage to a corporate headquarters in months. But a company grows, and Steve remained wild. At the first board meetings, he would put his dirty, bare feet on the conference table. He smelled. He screamed at vendors. He wasn't acting like a CEO. He was acting like a rock star. He realized that if he acted like a genius, people would treat him like one. By 1980, the lie had worked. Apple went public. Steve was worth $200 million at age 25. But money is a dangerous drug. Steve started to believe his own myth. He became a tyrant. He parked his Mercedes in handicapped spots because he thought the rules didn't apply to him. But he had a weakness. He needed a father figure to run the company. He set his eyes on John Scully, the CEO of Pepsi, a corporate titan. He courted him for months, and then he delivered the line that became a curse. Do you want to sell sugar water for the rest of your life, or do you want to come with me and change the world? After 6 months' courtship, Scully accepted. Steve thought he had hired a partner, but in reality, he had hired his executioner. May 1985. The honeymoon is over. The Macintosh is a commercial disaster. It is underpowered and overpriced. Warehouses are filling up with unsold inventory. The company is bleeding cash. Panic spreads through the halls of Cupertino, and John Scully sees his opening. Steve made a fatal tactical error. He tried to stage a secret mutiny. He plotted to have the board fire Scully while he was away on a business trip to China. But Steve was sloppy. He told the wrong person, and the plan leaked back to Scully. Scully didn't just see a failing manager anymore. He saw a traitor. He realized he finally had the leverage he needed. He could walk into that boardroom not as the aggressor, but as the victim of a conspiracy. The board just met. Scully goes to the board of directors with an ultimatum. It is me or Steve. Steve enters the room. He looks around the table. These are men he hired, men he made rich. He waits for them to defend him. One by one, they raise their hands against him. They stripped him of his operational duties. They took his team. They moved his office to an empty building at the edge of the campus. The employees called it Siberia. He was 30 years old, and he was utterly alone. He did the only thing his pride would allow. He quit. He sold all his stock, and he walked into the wilderness.
What can I say? I hired the wrong guy.
That was Scully?
Yeah. And he destroyed everything I'd spent 10 years working for. Starting with me, but that wasn't the saddest part. I would have gladly left Apple if Apple would have turned out like I'd wanted it to.
For 12 years, the world forgot Steve Jobs. He launched Next. It failed. He bought Pixar. It bled money. But while Steve was failing, Apple was dying. 1996. Apple is rotting. They have 90 days of cash left. They are desperate for a new operating system. They have two choices, BOS or Steve Jobs Next. Apple bought Next for $429 million. The CEO, Jill Amelio, thought he was buying software. He didn't realize he was buying a Trojan horse. Steve entered as an advisor. He spent 6 months walking the halls, whispering to engineers, gathering information, and acts with Law 14 of the Green's 48 Laws of Power: pose as a friend, work as a spy. When the time was right, he orchestrated a boardroom coup that got Jill Amelio fired, and Steve was named interim CEO. The first thing he did, the Purge. He walked into the product review meeting. He found a company that was drunk on its own complexity. Apple wasn't selling the Mac. They were selling 12 different versions of the Macintosh. The Performa, the Quadra, the LC, the PowerBook 5300. Even the engineers couldn't explain the difference between them. Steve realized the problem immediately. Apple was bleeding cash because they were spreading their resources across 350 mediocre products instead of focusing on one great one. He looked at the exhausted engineering team and screamed, "Stop! This is crazy!" He drew a single vertical line, then a horizontal line, a 2x2 grid. He wrote Consumer and Pro on the top, Desktop and Portable on the side. He told them, "We are going to make 4 computers, one for each box. If your project doesn't fit in a box, it is dead." He killed 70% of the company in one afternoon. Printers gone, servers gone, the Newton gone. 3,000 employees were fired. The press called him a butcher, but Steve knew the truth of the founder's forge. Focus doesn't mean saying yes, it means saying no to 100 good ideas. He fired the board members who betrayed him. He saved the ship. He didn't come back to make friends. He came back to make a dent in the universe. He died a billionaire. He died an icon, but he proved the darkest rule of the founder's forge. You can be a genius, or you can be a nice guy, but you cannot be a king until you are willing to kill the past. This is Founder's Forge, forged in fire, built to last. Subscribe for more crisis.